everyone, I'm going to be doing a review today for a book called Light in the Shadows by Meredith Walters. This is a book 2, and if you have not seen book 1 or would like to know what book 1 is about, go ahead and I'll leave the Goodreads page down below, and I will also leave my review for the first book, which is Find You in the Dark. I will go ahead and leave that in the description box as well. So, since this is a book 2, I can't really do a synopsis without spoiling anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and get right into all the spoilers of this book. So, I'm assuming you know what this book is about if you've read the first one and you've read this book and you're looking at this review, because many times people don't watch reviews that aren't books that they've read, I'm assuming. Unless it's like a non-spoiler, but I can't really do a non-spoiler because it's a book 2. But yeah, so if you don't know what this book is about and you kind of just want to know what it's about without having to read it, it is about a young boy who struggles with himself and his demons in his life, and a young girl that she hasn't been brought down with him, but they have fallen in love with each other, and they are fighting the battles that he faces together, and it's about that. And so in this book, I felt that there was so much growth in this book, like character development between the characters. Both of the characters, Maggie and Clay, grew so much. I noticed such a huge difference between them in the first book and them in the second book. It was amazing. There was tons of healing because Clayton finally realized, like, hey, I need to get my act together if I want to spend my life with Maggie. I need to get my act together if I want to be around for my family members and my aunt and my friends and stuff like that. There's just so much growth in this book that it is seriously amazing. There's also a lot of acceptance in this book because Clayton comes to accept his disorders and what he needs to do in order to better himself. And Maggie also comes to acceptance, like, hey, he's working on himself. I need to work on myself. I'm not going to wait around for him. I need to stop moping around and get back to my life again. I loved seeing Rachel and Daniel in this book and their growing relationship together. I thought that they were both really, really awesome characters. They stood up for Maggie, but they also stood up for Clay. Not as much because, of course, they were friends with Maggie first, and so they were very on her side with a lot of things, and so I really liked how they stood up for both of them in a sense. I also really liked Danny, how he was so overprotective. I talked about that in the book 1 review. I just found it to be a really nice touch to have that male best friend that was just very protective of his, not girlfriend, but girl that's a friend, you know? Along with the growth, there was tons of realizations in this book between both characters. Tons of development. I wrote like little post-it notes to aid what I would talk about. I did read this book probably about a month ago. So there was a time in the book where I remember this. Clay comes back to school and he has like a mental breakdown in the school bathroom, and Daniel walks in on him, and maybe it's like an anxiety attack, I would say, mental breakdown, anxiety attack, and Daniel comes in and really just saves the day. He helps him so much. He helps him calm down and relax and breathe and focus on what is going on and to really just calm down. And my heart was like so full at that moment when Daniel was helping Clay, because most of the book Daniel put on this face towards Clay that was like, I don't like you, like, I'll handle you because you're dating my best friend, but I don't really like you, you know, stuff like that. And so I really enjoyed seeing him care and help and, you know, help Clay like move forward and grow, you know. I also really liked how Clay realized he was wrong, and he was accepting of it. He knew, like, hey, what I did was wrong and you shouldn't have to have dealt with this, and I understand where you're coming from because you're mad at me. And again, I just put, there was just so much development in this book. Things that really just bothered me with this book, and not in a sense bothered me with the book, but that were so sad for me to read, were Clay really just wanted acceptance and love from his parents, and that's where his whole downward spiral started, was wanting love and acceptance from his parents, and he never got it. And it was so sad all these times that he would go back to this little boy state of mind and think like, oh, I want my parents to accept me. I want my parents to be proud of me. I want them to love me. And he never got that. And it was just so heartbreaking to see how cruel his parents were and how much he just really wanted them to be there for him. I also put page 83 and then like a heartbreaking symbol. So let me see what that was about. Page 83 was, I put a little heartbreak symbol in my notes. And this is the part where Jake, who I absolutely hated in this book, I thought he was like the rudest person ever. And I could understand where he was coming from, but he was just rude. Just plain rude. I just did not like him. And he was basically really like berating and being rude to Maggie and saying like, you're the shell of a person. Like, why don't you get up and do something with your life? Like, go out, have fun. He's never coming back. He's not gonna love you. And it was just like, so rude. Like, I really did not like Jake at all throughout the book. He was just a complete jerk the whole book. I feel like he never grew as a character. He kind of just got worse and worse, and he was just disgusting, really. And I found that this book was really therapeutic for me, even. Like, reading the parts where Clay was in therapy and with his therapist just really hit home, and it was just really relatable and helpful, and it made me realize things that maybe I need to do in my life, and maybe things that I should really think about more. And I found it to be a very great book. I want to say I gave this book 5 stars. 4 or 5 stars. I can't exactly remember. I want to say 4 or 4.5. I thought this was a great book, and I thought it was a great sequel to the book, and I loved how everything played out. I thought that, again, they had just, the development was great, and that's really what I needed to see in this book series. But it was nice to see where the characters grew and where they went and how they handled their situations, because not everyone handles situations the way that they should. And this book was a clear indication that, hey, you've made a mistake, but it's not too late, and you can fix it and own up to it and really do what you need to do to make yourself better and your life better. So yeah, that is my little review for Light in the Shadows by A. Meredith Walters. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if you've read this book. I would love to know your thoughts on the series and the characters and all that. But yeah, leave some comments. I would love to talk to you guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!